Today I'm going to explain how to play Mawashi yuri on the Shakuhachi. Mawashi yuri is a very important technique for playing the koten Shakuhachi honkyoku, so the core repertoire of Shakuhachi music. Hi, I'm Marcus and I play the Shakuhachi. Today let's continue our investigation of special Shakuhachi techniques by looking at Mawashi yuri. This is basically a direct continuation of the video I made on kamuri or nayashi a few weeks ago. And the same things that I said there for kamuri and nayashi hold for Mawashi yuri. Okay, so if you've not seen that video, maybe watch that first. I'll link it up here. In that video, I talked especially about the upward slide and how to do that. Okay, so the same things are important here for Mawashi yuri. Mawashi yuri can roughly be translated as circular movement or circle shake. It is this figure. As a first approximation, you can think of Mawashi yuri as repeated kamuri or nayashi that starts slow and then get faster. So Mawashi yuri is played with an oroshi rhythm. Oroshi is this type of rhythm. This type of rhythm is very popular in the taiko world, where it is often used to create anticipation or excitement. And also in many other forms of traditional Japanese music, you find this rhythm. Okay, so this is not specific to Mawashi yuri, but you find this in many aspects of traditional Japanese music. So for moving the head, you have to find your own way of which way of head movement works best for you. You can go straight up and down or make more of a circular movement, or any mixture of these. Okay, so just going up and down. Oh yeah, going sideways. Whichever direction works better for you. Okay, circular movement. Or a combination of the two, where maybe you have more of an ellipse. Something like that. I'm just thinking, what am I doing? I have no idea which I'm using. Probably it really depends on the context of the piece, which technique I will be using for the head movement. The same things that I talked about for kamuri or nayashi are important for Mawashi yuri as well. I already said this at the beginning. The upward movement is slower than the downward movement, so you mainly hear the slide upwards. So it's okay. It is a movement between two notes. So take care to play these pitches correctly. In the case that I just played, it's re and re-medi. So it's always the movement between these two pitches. And the third thing that is the same as in the slides for kamuri or nayashi is that the lower note is the heavier of the two notes. So it's not. Okay, it's not this type of rhythm. Another thing that Mawashi yuri has in common with kamuri is that it starts on the higher note and it also ends on the higher note. For Mawashi yuri, it is important that the starting and ending notes are played clearly before and after this movement section. A lot of focus is, of course, on the movement section. And if you start playing this pattern, this is what's really confusing. Okay, so you will have almost all of your attention on the movement section. Don't forget the note before, the note after. Yeah, this is the frame for the Mawashi yuri. After the final high note that ends this pattern, it also often happens that you go down to the low note again. But again, I said this just a minute ago, please finish the pattern by properly playing the high note first before going down again. So let's play U for just to give it a change. Okay, so before I move back down to circle U at the very end, I stayed at U before going down. Yeah, this is very important for this pattern. A crucial aspect of playing Mawashi yuri in the KSK style is that the movement does not get smaller, or put another way, the pitches do not change. Yeah, you play always re-meri. You play always U, circle U. Yeah, you always play tsumeri, tsudaimeri. Yeah, these two notes do not change. So when the rhythm gets faster, the head movement does not get smaller. Quite the opposite. As the rhythm gets faster, you have to put more effort into making this up and down movement quickly enough so that you do get to the same position, to the same pitches. Basically, it looks like the quicker the movement, the bigger the head movement. Okay, so I exaggerated a bit in order to demonstrate. Okay, so usually I would not make the movements quite that big. But yeah, this is very important. It's a very useful thing to think about Mawashi yuri in this case, because the pitches have to stay the same. The movement needs to get bigger. Okay, it's not that. So there always is this association: faster movements, smaller movements. This is very natural. Okay, but this does not work here. Yeah, faster movement, bigger movement. Please note that this emphasis on keeping the pitches is important in the KSK style. Yeah, but in some other schools, you actually do make the movement smaller, and you make the interval between the two notes smaller as well. Yeah, it's not that the one is correct and the other is not. It's just that those are different styles. Yeah, if you play with that style where the pitch gets smaller, where the interval gets smaller, something like this. I don't really know how to play this properly because it's not a tradition in my school. Okay, so, but I've heard this many times being played like this. There's one more thing that is sometimes added to playing Mawashi yuri, especially for Mawashi yuri and re-meri. You will often hit on 5. Yeah, you will add an Atari on the thumb hole. So here in this case of re, yeah, you do an Atari on 5 with the thumb. In other cases, you may use other fingers on other holes, okay? This will be indicated in the score, and you should do it accordingly. Yeah? So only do this Atari if it is actually written in the score. And it will also say which finger to use for the Atari, okay? The important thing, and again, this is something that especially people who start out with Mawashi yuri find very confusing at first. So the important thing is to get the timing of this Atari right. The hit should be at the start of the high note. So staying with this example, at the start of the re. Don't make this hit too late or too early. This interferes with the rhythm of the Mawashi yuri. So if I hit too early, so you can hear that after I'm doing the hit, the pitch still rises. If you do it too late, okay, I get to the re first and then I do the hit. So you can clearly hear I'm playing the re and then there is the hit. Okay. Both of these are not correct. Yeah, so the hit has to be at the start of the high note. And getting the timing right of these Atari, I already said this, can be quite tricky at first. Yeah, so please take your time practicing this slowly until you get this timing right. Okay, if you play a few weeks, just that's totally fine. Okay, it's very difficult practicing something fast but wrongly and then correcting it, in contrast to practicing something slowly and then speeding it up. If you practice something slowly, you get the right movement, okay? And making the right movement faster is not so difficult. But making a fast movement, a wrong fast movement, and then changing the movement, this is impossible, basically. Okay, so this is why there's always the emphasis: practice slowly first until you get the movement right. Not just here, for anything, on musical instruments, basically. Okay. This Atari, yeah, you can think of this as the start of the high note. This is a bit like using tonguing in the Western flute style, where tonguing is done at the start of every note, really. Yeah, it makes it very clear where the note starts. So, of course, we're not using tonguing. This is just an analogy, right? So to motivate or to explain where the Atari has to sit, okay? So this starts the high note. And as you probably already noticed, when I play this pattern, the hits are only done during the slower part. When the rhythm gets faster, it's not really possible to continue doing the hits in the fast part. Let me try doing this. This was not just for show. I generally can't do it. Okay, so if I play a proper Mawashi yuri, you can hear that at some point I stopped making this Atari. Then, also very important to keep in mind is that Mawashi yuri sounds very fast. It sounds very energetic, but it's really just important to have a good contrast in speed between the start and the end speed. And the trick usually is to start slowly enough. Okay, if I start fast, I have nowhere to go. This does not work. Okay, if I start slowly, okay, I wasn't even as fast at the end of the second time as I was at the end of the first time. You know what I mean, right? So I didn't speed up. I sped up more. Okay, this is what you heard, and this is why the Mawashi yuri sounded faster the second time. The first time, it was basically just chaos. Okay, so start slowly. No discussion of Mawashi yuri can be complete without pointing out that the tsumeri Mawashi yuri is often part of chiru pattern. So this. This will often be part of playing something like. Okay, so I just made up something. I don't think this pattern exists anywhere in the honkyoku repertoire. But you get the point, right? So this is sort of a natural part of a chiru pattern. And this is where you use the fingering for the long chiru pattern. And if you have no idea what this means, you can watch the video on the chiru pattern that I made a few weeks ago, where I explain what the long pattern and the short pattern is. Okay. Sometimes you even have a Mawashi yuri on chimeri and chi daimeri. So this really brings the two things very close. So yeah, first the Mawashi yuri pattern and then ending with chiru. This basically is, I'm not sure if you still can say this is Mawashi yuri, this is chiru pattern, or it's a combination of both. So this sort of closes the loop to the chiru pattern. As always, I hope this video was useful. If you've not seen the video on kamuri and nayashi, I'll link it up here, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. No discussion of Mawashi yuri